Ever wonder what it takes to stop the world's largest democracy dead in its tracks? Well, right now, believe it or not, the answer is a single book. A book that hasn't even been released yet. So let's dive right in.
So what is going on? I mean, why is India's parliament, one of the biggest legislative bodies on the planet, in total deadlock right now? We're talking complete chaos, nothing getting done.
And the reason for all this? It's shockingly specific. The entire political firestorm, all the shouting matches and stalled proceedings, it all boils down to just one thing. A book. A memoir from a former army chief that hasn't even hit the shelves yet.
And when I say chaos, I mean it. People are literally calling the floor of Parliament a verbal wrestling pit. It gives you a picture, right? Absolutely no work is getting done. Sessions get shut down almost the second they start.
And look, this isn't just a one-off argument that blew over. We're talking 4 straight days of Parliament being completely derailed over this one single issue. That just goes to show you how dug in both sides really are.
Okay, so what is this book that's causing all the trouble? It's called 4 Stars of Destiny. It's the memoir of the former Chief of the Army Staff, General M.M. Naravane. And here's where it gets really specific. The whole fight is about just 5 lines. That's it. On one side, you have the opposition, led by Rahul Gandhi, who desperately want to read these 5 lines out loud in Parliament. And on the other side, you've got the government, doing everything in its power to make sure that never happens. Now, whenever you see a government trying so hard to stop something from being said, it just makes you wonder, right? What on earth could be in those 5 little lines that they're so afraid of people hearing?
Okay, so let's get right into the juicy part. What are these 5 lines actually about? What's the explosive claim here?
So to really get this, we need to go back in time a bit. The setting for this whole story is the incredibly tense military standoff between India and China at the Kailash Range. And we're talking about a super high-stakes situation, a real national security crisis. All right, so here's how the story allegedly goes, according to the opposition. Step 1. Chinese tanks start moving towards the Kailash Range. The army chief, General Naravane, immediately gets on the line with senior ministers asking, "What do we do?" But then, nothing. Radio silence. For hours, in a super critical moment. And then finally, a message arrives. And this message, this is the one that's brought Parliament to a standstill. The government's supposed instruction to the army chief while facing down a nuclear power was this: "Jo uchit samjho wo karo." And what does that mean? It translates to, do what you think is appropriate.
Now, on the surface, that might not sound so bad, right? But in the world of politics and national security, it's being framed as an incredibly serious accusation. This whole political mess is about the hidden meaning, the implication behind that one simple sentence.
So what's the big deal? Why is this one little sentence so explosive? Why is it causing days and days of chaos? Well, the opposition is calling it a classic case of abdication of responsibility. What they mean is that the political leaders, the ones who are supposed to make these huge calls, basically pass the buck. They're saying the government failed to do its job, its most important duty, right in the middle of a crisis. So the argument goes like this. The government basically left the army chief holding the bag, forcing him to make a massive war or peace decision all by himself. And the opposition is not backing down. After getting shut down in Parliament, Rahul Gandhi just went and read the lines to the media instead. He even offered to personally give a copy of the book to the Prime Minister. And all of this leads us to the big unanswered question here, where you can't really tell what's genuine concern for the country and what's just clever political maneuvering. Because here's the thing that doesn't add up. The government has been saying for ages that it showed red eyes to China, that they took a really tough, aggressive stance. So if that's the case, why on earth would they try to block a book that would probably prove their point? You'd think they'd want everyone to read about it, right?
And so that's where we are. We're left with this one lingering question that's just hanging over all of Parliament. Is the government really blocking these 5 lines because it's afraid of the truth? Or is there something else going on here entirely?